Lil Baby went into rival gang territory to film. I mean, and that's a diss, right? And what do you think that's going to create? Pop, 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 pop. Brrrah. Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, as you well know, wearing my pearl handle. I should actually say armed. I'm armed with my pearl handle pistol cufflinks, so graciously gifted to me by a former content genius, Michael Rivers, God rest his soul. A lot of things going on today. We're going to react to a potential indictment on Lil Baby and kind of how that whole thing is going to transpire. We've got some fan news. I got a thing in the mail today that I want to show you guys. It's some art that Michael created. So before we get to that, this is brought to you by AskALawyer.com. AskALawyer.com is a really inexpensive way for you to kind of have a legal situation analyzed. Let's say you have a landlord-tenant dispute. Do I have a claim? You know, I mean, my grandma thinks she does, so she called AskALawyer.com, and guess what? She learned she didn't. Grandma. No, I'm just joking. I treat my grandma well. She's in my basement, and, you know, I change the sheets every 3 to 4 months on her bed. You know, I mean, she's okay. But she was able to go to AskALawyer.com and get some legal advice. You know, am I being mistreated? Does this meet what the law is? Whatever you need in terms of a lawyer question, they have live lawyers at the ready for $49. That is cheap as hell. And it doesn't bind you to anything. And they also have an AI version so that they have all the AI trained on all the state and federal laws in this country. So you can get just about any answer to a question that you have. So go to AskALawyer.com. They're incredible sponsors for CLR. They also the same people that brought you eForm and eSign. So go to AskALawyer.com. Click the link below. Right? Okay. Before we get to that, we got a little fan news. We have Joanne D. Patricia from Sagal, Idaho. She wrote me a nice card, a pair of cufflinks, silver cufflinks actually, with the 3 monkeys. This is the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. So thank you, Joanne. And Kimberly Arland from Tulsa, Oklahoma, congratulations on your candidacy for JD, that's Juris Doctor. I got an invitation to your hooding. I won't be able to be there. I would love to be there, but I will be in a RICO trial at that time. So the federal government has my ass for the next couple of weeks after that. But thank you for the invitation. Oh, and she says, I've learned so much for your videos. Thank you very much. You're just, I love these cards. And then Philip Whitaker sent me a nice note about Michael. And, you know, I've had so many well wishes about Michael. And I'm not going to mince words. It's been fucking hard. You know, like this morning, I had a nightmare about him last night, and sometimes it's just fucking hard. But I will have to say, you know, with friends and family and all you guys, I've had so many well wishes. If you're struggling with drugs, it ain't nothing to get some fucking help, you know? And if you're dealing with somebody, don't give up on them. Don't give up on them no matter what. They might piss you off because they fucking lie to you. They do some stupid shit. They wreck your shit, but you love them anyway, and just be strong and love them anyway. So I told you that I was going to show you something that I just had done. So Michael, when he was in college, went to Guatemala. He spent like 10 days there for a religion course with Augsburg University. He took like over 4,000 fucking photographs. When you're OCD, and you do something well, he took all these photographs. I'm going to show you something. So take a look at this. This was a photograph Michael took in Guatemala, and we're going to put some of this artwork up on our website on clrbrucerivers.com. And so if you want to order, not necessarily a huge one like this, I kind of did this special, but if you want to order some of his art, you can have art from the artist. So anyway, but your well wishes, the gifts, you know, everybody sends me stuff, and I can't thank you enough. Really sustains me. All right, let's get into Lil Baby. First of all, what's RICO? It's the racketeering and organized crimes. It's started with the mafia. That's where it came from. And there's no coincidence that it's like an Italian name, RICO. They're using it in a way to just get a bunch of guys, and then they have acts and further into the conspiracy, basically, or overt acts to support the organization. So let's just start out. Who is Lil Baby? Lil Baby, his original name was Dominique Jones. Dominique? Is it Dominique or Dominic? Dominique is a woman. Dominic is a man. And I think Lil Baby is a guy. But he grew up in Southwest Atlanta. He grew up poor, and he's no stranger to legal issues. His history is a little colored. It's possession with intent in 2012, arrest, possession of marijuana, who gives a shit. So the possession of marijuana with intent to sell was a charge that he spent 2 years in prison for. So, and that was before he kind of blew up. He was arrested in 2019 for reckless driving. Who cares? Detained in Paris for marijuana in 2021. Who cares? Arrested for carrying a concealed weapon in Nevada. That charge was later dropped, but that's a little more serious, especially if you have drugs on you. So when Lil Baby was released from prison in 2017, he turned to music and was helped by his close friend, you guessed it, YT, Young Thug. And apparently Thug paid him to stay out of the streets. So let's listen to this clip.
You've been quoted as saying you have not received any money or any residuals from Gunna, and that you ain't, you ain't, and also, even on top of that, Lil Baby went on record as saying you used to pay him just to focus on rap.
But that nigga didn't know who he was, twin. Like, I used to read that young nigga captions and shit on his pictures. Like, I'm calling that nigga like, bro, you know you can rap, bro. Like, you tripping.
Mm-hmm.
He in jail. He like, bro, I don't goddamn get out, bro. I don't goddamn get me some money, man. If I can give me some bad, man, sit down and goddamn do what I need to do.
So you knew before he went on his bed.
One of the things, why do people get involved in the streets? Well, because they ain't got no education and they got nothing to do. And they think that's the easiest way to make some cash. But it's short money. Short money. Because if you have to look over your fucking shoulder, if you have to strap, if you have to put on one of these things, that's short money.
You knew Lil Baby before he went on his bed.
Hell yeah. Okay. I lived in the same hood. Like, his hood 6 minutes from my hood.
Oakland City and Cleveland Avenue a little ways apart, though.
That shit
and it's like this. Sometimes it don't even be monetary.
Go through D11, you on Metropolitan.
When you see niggas eat,
you're right.
When you see your niggas eating, that's enough money off of it. When you see niggas you pulled in, you don't even need to see the bread. So a lot of times,
that's right.
That's enough.
I don't want to make no money out of them niggas.
When you see them niggas, that's be enough of that shit.
But
you know
what
what I mean?
made you pay a nigga to rap? Like, what made you pay a nigga to say, hey, look, man, I'm going.
There's only one reason to pay a fella to rap. And that's because you think he's got promise and that you're going to make money off him. I mean, now, unless you are such a magnanimous individual where you want to do something good for somebody and keep somebody off the street, that could be a reason too. But typically you see promise and I think I can make some money with this guy.
I'm going to give you money just to rap.
Just to groom him to, you really can get paid from doing it. Like,
just to groom him to get paid for it. So, I mean, he saw talent in him. And if I sign him up, then he ain't going to compete with me. I can make money off him.
No cap. Not
boy,
no,
but
hey, I'm going to pay you.
But boy,
no, really actually doing it like, hey.
Man, listen, it's one thing to believe in somebody once they believing in themselves. It's something totally different to see something in somebody before they can see it in themselves. That's crazy.
That's not crazy. If you're talented, you know talent where it exists. He saw something in Lil Baby, and he had, that spark. He just had the it factor, right? And so in about 2017, Lil Baby started dropping music. But now keep in mind, he's no stranger to the streets. You've heard that song, right? He followed up with, Harder Than Hard, To the Hard Way, Too Hard. All this hard shit. Honestly. I mean, it's a genre of music, and it's what they know, right? It's what these... it's like a country singer singing about a fucking pickup truck, in the mud. Why are you singing about that? Well, because that's what I know. Well, when you grow up poor, you grow up in the streets, you sing about the streets, right? So that's why he's authentic. But he really started gaining some ground and gaining some success. So he had 151 million views on YouTube and went platinum on My Dog. And all of a sudden featuring Moneybag Yo has 233 million views. I think we've got over 300 million views total. His song Freestyle hit 671 million views and has gone platinum 3 times. This is what kills me. These guys get some success, but they can't leave the street. So there's a song called Freestyle. You know, if you've seen the video, they got the bands, they got the car. It's all this flash of wealth. So here's some of the lyrics. I've been getting faded. I'm sipping on maple. I don't know. What's maple?
That's an awful lot of cough syrup in my hand.
Okay. I've been getting faded. I'm sipping on maple. If she won't fuck, I won't make her. I don't like bitches with makeup. If she want titties, I pay for them. Get out when I wake up. I pass the ball. I don't lay up. I'm a big boss. Say so. They wipe you down if I say so. Dracos on Dracos on Dracos on Dracos. 40s on 40s on 40s. I just bought me some new water. Wetter than Katrina. Shout out to what's water?
Diamonds.
Huh?
Diamonds.
Oh, wow. Is it really? It's the lifestyle, right? It's the flash of the wealth. It's the pussy. It's this, it's that. If she won't fuck, you won't make her. Well, good. Good for you. Good that you understand consent. If she wants titties, I pay for them. Well, I'm not going to say that I disagree with that necessarily. But you're the direct beneficiary there, aren't you? So anyway, so you kind of get a flavor of where he's at. So he's collaborated with almost every artist that matters. Gone platinum many times, and he solidified himself as a leading figure in contemporary rap. Now, here's the thing. So you got all this success, right? Remember what we talked about with the stuff going on in L.A.? You know, the people, the check-ins, the people who are controlling shit. Well, you're still kind of controlled by the streets to a certain extent. So he started his own label called 4 Pockets Full, 4PF. And it's been a symbol in the music industry and a focal point in its ongoing legal investigation. So you create an organization. If you do shit to support that organization that's criminal, you can really subject yourself to RICO. And so you can see here, this is his bling. And look at this. So you look at this one. This shit can't be cheap. But here's the thing. It's expensive to buy, but you can't sell it. So if all of a sudden you try to sell this stuff, you wouldn't be able to. So if you look at some of his lyrics, shout out to the whole Oakland City man. You know what I'm saying? The whole 4PF. You know what I'm saying? I put this up. Yeah. 4PF look like we hit licks. How we sell bricks. We don't sell shit. We just make hits. What does that mean? We hit licks? Robbing somebody. Let's kind of look at another one of his Southside hits. And this is where this kind of stuff can end up in fucking, is it art or is it self-snitching? Remember what I said about self-snitching? So I just got some stupid dome from this hoe on the south side. Dome, like that. Long live Trump. Trump. Long live Troop, my OG man, my fella from the south side. Shout out DZ and them lokes who crippin' on the south side. I get bags in for the low and send them to the south side. Yeah, I'm selling coke for real. I put the D in dope for real. St. Laurent on my coat for real. That Draco. I'm with Derez Clayco. So you know what Draco is. Draco's a gun. This kind of stuff, if they can corroborate it with something else, comes into evidence in a criminal trial. I sell coke for real. I put the D in dope for real. Why the fuck would you do that? Because it sells, right? It's hard. It's like the diss tracks. Like Bibby and all that stuff. Oh, these guys drive me crazy. If I'm the defense lawyer, what do you argue? That this is art. This is not real. In 2024, Lil Baby announced that his record label was transitioning to a new label called Glass Window Entertainment. Why do you think that is? Right when he gets a hint that he's under the RICO investigation. In his podcast episode, A Safe Place Podcast, he stated, because all that shit's going to be going on, and I had to start learning that as far as other people's assets, I could be held accountable. In other words, guilt by association. I ain't know all the first that you know what I'm saying. Never would you have to rent that route, but I ain't know. Because all the shit that's been going on, I had to start learning that as far as other people's assets, I could be held accountable. I ain't know all the facts at first. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, never would have went that route, but I ain't know. I ain't know, or I did not know, or I was unaware of the facts at that time. Here's the thing, little baby, you don't have to know all the facts. You don't have to even know all your co-conspirators. Do you realize that? That is what happens in a RICO case or in a conspiracy case. Conspiracy is an agreement between two or more people with to commit a crime and an act in furtherance of that crime. In a RICO, they have overt acts in support of the organization, criminal acts. So if you have somebody under your employ and they do something illegal, you don't know about it, but it furthers your organization and you continue to associate with them, guess what? In for a penny, in for a fucking pound. The thing that I don't get is this office in Fulton County folded on Young Thug. Why are they doing this again? You know, I mean, I'm sure they're going to pluck 40 or so men off the street, right? So in 2022, Lil Baby found himself defending a now defunct imprint after the high-profile RICO case with YSL, Young Thug and Gunna. So to be clear, honestly, he's not been charged with anything, okay? Nothing. But the reports suggest that Georgia authorities are prepared to indict on RICO against Lil Baby and, you know, everybody that's in his wake. And let's just talk about what kind of stuff that they have on him. At approximately 12:34 a.m. on July 2nd, Atlanta police responded to reports of gunfire at Sparks Apartments on Sparks Street in Southwest in Atlanta. Upon arrival, officers discovered 3 juvenile males had been shot. 13-year-old Lamont Freeman was pronounced dead at the scene, while 13-year-old Jacody Davis succumbed to his injuries after being transported to Eggleton Hospital's 11-year-old Dontavius Davis survived with a gunshot wound to his foot. So you got 2 young men, children, not even men yet. I'm so fucking sick of watching these people do this. All I can do is this channel, right? And I do it in my practice too. I had one young guy, and I was trying to coach him a little bit. You know, he had an attempted murder case, he had this case, and he had a child on the way. And I just started talking to him, telling him he's better than this. And I started talking to him like a father. And you know what he told me? He said, nobody ever talked to me that way. Nobody ever said I had promise. I didn't think I could do this or that. And now he's in fucking college. You know, we got him out of the attempted murder case. I keep in contact with him. And he's parenting his child. He had a baby. And he's turning a leaf. Where are the people to coach these young men? These young guys shouldn't be fucking dying because of guns. You know, if you have a 16-year-old, make sure that 16-year-old doesn't have a fucking gun. If you're an auntie, if you're a grandma, you're a sister, you see anybody in your family, it's a young male that has a gun and like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, take it away from them. But let's just watch some news coverage on this.
Atlanta police are blaming a local rapper's music video for the deaths of 2 13-year-olds, and a $50,000 reward is being offered for more information. So far, 7 people have already been arrested.
The overall theme of this case is grown men playing gangster that left 2 of our children in graves and a community in fear. And cowardly acts of an Atlanta-based rapper that decided to go over into a rival gang stronghold and shoot a music video in a place that he knew he should not have been.
Lil Baby and his music video are also named in arrest warrants for the shooting deaths of 13-year-old Lamont Freeman and Jacody Davis. Police call them innocent victims. The shooting happened last summer at the Oakland City West End apartments on Peoples Street. Police describe this as gang violence escalated by that Lil Baby music video shoot. Investigators say members of the Goodfellas gang orchestrated that attack from jail.
So that is real consequences. What if I just went to O Block and I just started blasting, the wrong group? Lil Baby, you should know better, honestly. And I think we've talked about Jacksonville, we've talked about New York, we've talked about Chicago and, the GDs and whatever. We've talked about Young Thug and King Von and all these. I mean, it's happening everywhere. If you're a young man growing up, young man, you ain't got nothing going on. Find somebody to attach your fucking wagon to. It doesn't even have to be an older man. Somebody that's going to college. Go to a fucking college. If you're 16, do this. Just try this. And if you do it, tell me that you did it. Go to a campus. Go to a college campus. Find a young black guy that's carrying a bunch of books. Talk to him. Get some inspiration. And I don't mean to just say this is just a black thing, because it sounds like I'm, pigeonholing whatever. I'm talking about Little Baby. I'm talking about these neighborhoods. I'm talking about the people that are dying. If you're a young African-American male who's got promise, which every one of you does, go find somebody, or go find a black welder, for Christ's sake, somebody that's going to work every day. It doesn't have to be college, but college is just easier. And plus, there's nice chicks on a college campus, too. But find somebody that looks like you, that's carrying books, that you can identify with, that can inspire you, and get a plan and start to build right the fuck now. So you're not wrapped up in jail or even just shitty jobs. Poverty is what creates a lot of this crime. But if you just have the right mindset, you can get around the barriers that are right in front of you. Plenty of people have done it. And it's hard to see sometimes, but you can do it. What makes this shooting really bad is it took place during a birthday celebration. So they recovered extensive communications from both 4PF and OMF affiliates. And those are two rival gangs. So this includes a phone call where OMF affiliates are discussing plans to retaliate against 4PF. That's a problem. So let's just listen in.
What's up, huh? Oh, what's going on? Man, like, come on, bro. You know what's finna go on. Like, how the hell you can? You know what I'm saying? They ain't even like that, man. Them got tickets on a lot of these folks. I'm telling you.
We just heard somebody say these folks got tickets on these people. We know what's going on. First of all, who was that said that about the tickets?
Unc, the unidentified male that was being referred to as Unc.
And he's speaking with Mr. Sanders.
Correct.
And what, in your experience, do you know what tickets are?
A price on somebody's head.
What do you mean by a price? What do you mean on somebody's head? What is that?
Like a bounty.
Okay. To have them arrested?
Harmed.
First of all, these things always come to light. And it gets especially difficult for them when there's a body. I think I told you over in Jacksonville, there's like 50 unsolved bodies. Probably even more at this point. The Atlanta Objective published on Monday, March 31st, that George Chitty reported that Lil Baby and other members of OMF, Only My Family, and 4PF, Four Pockets Full, are likely to be indicted over RICO charges. Per Chitty, the manager of the Georgia Public Defender's Office, specialized unit for gang cases, Sean Hoover, is actively preparing for a racketeering indictment on both street gangs and expects Never Needed rapper to be indicted with others. According to the same article, the preparation comes in the wake of the death of Keontae Davis. Davis was a co-defendant in the murder trial stemming from 2022 shooting of Jacavius Wilson, bled to death from bullet wounds last Friday. Another fucking person killed. Jesus Christ. The murder is seemingly part of a long-running street gang war between members of 4PF and OMF. Nathan 4PF, Nathan Benford, who was another co-defendant of the murder trial, pleaded guilty in that case and received a 20 years prison sentence and negotiated plea deal, which probably also included what? Snitching. I don't know that for sure, but, getting a 20-year deal on a murder case is snitch-worthy, is my guess. I have a case right now. My client shot somebody, and it's all on video. And it's wrapped up in a RICO trial. You know what the offer is in this case? 50 years. 50 years. You can get out when you're fucking drooling and need your nappies all wiped up your ass. Let's talk about these. And what are these guys really? They're fucking serial killers. Honestly, what's the difference between these guys and a serial killer? Maybe motivation, I suppose. But we're going to play a little clip from No Jumper.
Georgia Public Defender's Office says that they're preparing for a 4PF RICO that will ultimately see Lil Baby being indicted. The Public Defender's Office has spoken out and said that they expect a 4PF RICO.
Yeah, but no, right? So here, okay. But like here's what's been happening too, right? So there's OMF, which is like Goodfellas, right?
Okay.
And then there's Baby and there's 4PF. So when Baby filmed his like music video, right? And
So Lil Baby went into rival gang territory to film. I mean, and that's a diss, right? And what do you think that's going to create? Pop, 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 brrrah. And this is what happens. You shoot me, I shoot you, and then it's just a fucking cycle.
And in Goodfellas like territory,
right?
They slid and they shot up like the neighborhood. Then Baby and them like slid back and they killed Trevante Turner. So then they slid back and on like Baby and them and they killed the 2 13-year-old boys, right? So then there's also a bunch of other murders, like I think 4PF Nate and Dirty Tay, and they killed another person like Jaquan Wilson, right?
Okay.
But then here's the thing though, Keontae Davis was forced to testify because again, this could have just been the 4PF Nate murder, but they actually turned it into a gang case and they forced Keontae Davis to testify that 4PF is a gang and this was done in favor of the gang, right? So then they...
That's a fucking problem. And Keontae, guess what you are? If the soap is right there in the jail and you're taking a shower, I wouldn't drop the soap because, you know, snitches get stitches and wind up in ditches.
So then they got the 4PF Nate murder under gang files. Keontae Davis, who was set to be like the lead witness for the 4PF RICO, he got killed like 2 days ago.
Whoa.
So now they're saying, hold up now, bruh. All right. And now guess what? With the Goodfellas shit now that Baby and them is actually beefing with where folks have died, for them to allude to there's bags on their head from the 4PF and then the quote unquote gang expert. So right now, bro, like the RICO is coming for sure because there's been a lot of murders being committed by 4PF. For example, there's another I think 4PF member, and the body cam footage shows that he got booked for a crossfire shooting that killed like a 4-year-old, right? So like there's a lot of deaths being committed by 4PF members, and they're saying even if we can't get Lil Baby as somebody who actually committed something, okay, for example,
if you are part of an organization and Lil Baby is the leader of the organization, and people are doing things to further that organization, you know it, and you support it, guess what? In for a penny, in for a pound.
In the Trevante murder like police report, Lil Baby's name, Dominic Jones, is listed as the gang leader of 4PF. So they're saying that all these murders is being done on behalf of Baby. So yes, this right here don't really prove nothing, but if they have 4PF listed under murders committed in furtherance of the gang, and they're saying that Baby is the head of that, then, you know, they got him.
Stick a fork in him, he's done. So now, in the background, we still have Young Thug, right? He's on probation. I mean, he pled guilty, and they released him, but he's on probation. What happens when you're on probation? You violate it. The threat of prison looms, right?
Well, yeah, and then Young Thug basically trying to support Lil Baby by posting the picture of one of the investigators, Marissa Viverito, almost caused him to violate his probation because the DA actually filed a motion to violate him, and the judge said this does not violate his probation, but he should be careful moving forward.
How dumb is that, honestly? So, Thug, I mean, listen to your lawyer. I mean, you're dancing the head of a pin. Why would you put a fucking picture of law enforcement on you? Why would you post anything like that? Because guess what that is doing? That's incitement. You know, and if something were to happen as a result of that, do you think you could be called in? Absolutely you can. It's an unforced error. You didn't need to do that. Thug tweeted, so this is what he tweeted. Biggest liar in the DA office. Dude, leave them alone. They have the gun. You have the bullet. Don't hand them the bullets. It's as simple as that. Don't poke the bear. Then he retweeted, let's see, all my homies hate Viverito. There's no, and she shouldn't be on social media anyway. He went before a judge, and the judge said, look, you can't be doing this. And it's close to witness intimidation, really. And if you got another RICO indictment coming down, so Lil Baby's lawyer and said in February that Lil Baby shot a music video in rival gang territory that led to teenagers getting killed. Baby's lawyer fired back and called the accusations completely and total nonsense, while adding that a professional team made a decision to use the location. Bullshit. That's the only reason they shot there. To antagonize, to provoke, to make it controversial. Viverito was also key in the YSL trial, where she frustrated a judge over her misleading answer to a lawyer's question about rap lyrics during cross-examination. The defense questioned Viverito about the song Slat Talk by SB, an artist affiliated with YSL, specifically referencing the lyrics where he said, "I beat a murder rap." And this is Lil Baby's response. "Thanks for all the concerns. Please don't be misinformed by fake news." Oh, fake news. I'm overly good. Well, good for you. And then just people are kind of talking about this generally. They must have a hard on in Atlanta for trying to pin murders on a hip hop artist. You think they would have learned their lesson after Young Thug? I don't disagree with that, to be honest with you. Looks like Brian Steele has more work coming his way. He's got more. We're going to do another thing on Brian Steele because there's some news about him. Good lawyer, really good lawyer. I can't imagine being a legitimate multimillionaire leading my fellas into a known rivalhood to buck up for a video to prove we're not scared. It really is dumb. My homie got the stick, I got the glizzy. We don't fear them. These fellas don't want to play with us. I swear we're going to kill them. So final thoughts here on this is when people die, law enforcement acts. And there's no statute of limitations on murder. And when it comes to dying children and young men, there's no upside, guys. Let it go. And I know it's tough to let it go, but all this killing is only going to result in more killing. Preacher Bruce is done for the day. I know I'm preaching to you guys, but it's because I give a shit. You don't see the news. You see them covering the murders when they happen, but there's no outreach. BUILD. Build. Build your future. Build your relationships. Build your financial future. Build your life. You start building right now, just a little bit every day. In 5 years, guess what? You look back and say, "Oh, look what I built. I don't want to fucking tear down the temple that I built." So make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Sign up for Patreon. Go to CLR Bruce Rivers. We're going to start having more of Michael's artwork. And during this episode, I just had this this idea of putting together maybe a coffee table book with Michael's photographs in it. Because I think a nice big thick book. And I think that would be amazing, honestly. He was so talented in so many ways, and we miss him like crazy. So we'll see you next time here, Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your board-certified criminal defense lawyer. We'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. This is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer. That's BOARD. And coming to you with my pearl handle pistol cufflinks given to me by our content genius, Michael Rivers, who is behind the camera as we speak, and I work for him. I'm his employee. Today we're going to react to this Christopher Stanford. He has been charged with his 9th DWI. And we're going to talk a little bit about DWIs and what you should do, what you shouldn't do. But before we do that, let's talk about eSign.com. eSign.com is an effective way to remotely do business. Let's say you decide that you are going to drink and drive because this is what you love to do more than anything else, and you're the unluckiest son of a bitch, and every time you do it, you get caught. Well, what do? You're in jail, and all of a sudden you need to get a lawyer because all the other lawyers that you haven't paid aren't going to retain you. So you call somebody and they get something over to the jail, an e-sign document. They download the app. You get 3 free signatures a month. And then now you get this new lawyer who's a younger lawyer who's really a dumb because he thinks he's going to get a big case, but you're not going to pay him again either. But you sign a retainer agreement by e-sign because if it isn't e-sign, no one signs, right? eSign.com is a very effective way to remotely do business. That's what I do. I use it all the time when somebody's out of state or can't come in, or if I need it done quickly. It's a way to seal a deal really fast. So eSign.com, an effective and easy way to remotely do business. eastsign.com. Now, this Christopher Stanford been to prison 4 other times for felony DWI. In 2003, 18, 19, and now 2022. I don't understand. Anybody can get a DUI once. I mean, you go to the bar, you have a few cocktails. Oh my God, wasn't that fun, Jimmy? Yeah, it was, Billy. Let's go. And you hop in your car, and all of a sudden you see the cherries behind you. Okay, we'll pull over. Yeah, I was drinking. Yeah, I was drunk. I was weaving. Okay, I blew over .08. The legal limit is .08 nationwide. Elizabeth Dole was the Secretary of Transportation, and during that tenure, they tied highway funds to the lowering of the limit. And now nationwide, it's .08. The Elizabeth Dole thing that I was talking about earlier, they tied the highway funds to raising the legal age to drink to 21. And there's so many DUIs. I do some DUI work, but I don't do a ton of it. Because they're all the same. What I like in a good criminal case is a story. And that's why I say there's nothing like a good homicide between friends, right? So, because a homicide, there's a story there. And, and it's actually easier sometimes on a homicide because the jury wants to hear, okay, what are the facts of this case? When you have a crim sex case, they automatically look at your client and think, oh my God, that's disgusting. What the hell did he do? And you got to climb out of that hole. When you have a homicide, it isn't like that. It's more like a whodunit, and let's dive in. When you have a DWI, the facts are always almost the same. Yeah, I was driving. Yeah, I was weaving. Yeah, I got pulled over. Yeah, I blew over the legal limit. There's not a whole lot you can do. And then when you get these habitual offenders like this Christopher Stanford, oh my God. Number one, they don't think. Number two, they don't quit drinking. And number three, they don't quit driving. So this Christopher Stanford, he was sentenced Tuesday by a jury. Now, he pled guilty, but he elected to have a jury determine his sentence. We don't have that in Minnesota, and a lot of jurisdictions, they don't have that. But in some jurisdictions, you can have the jury decide your fate. I don't know that I would have done that in this case. And what do you do with somebody like this? I mean, what do you do? Well, you have to send them to treatment. And if they don't in other words, they don't complete treatment, they're going to be violated, on their conditions of release. And you won't have, when it comes to sentencing, you won't have a great argument that they're amenable to probation. But here's what struck me on this particular case. This is Mr. Stanford's 9th DWI. First DWI in Parker County, though. And he had other convictions in Tarrant, Dallas, Rockwell, and Johnson counties, just so that he had, and prosecutors saying he's a menace on the roadways throughout the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So he allows the jury to decide his fate. He says that he is unlucky. When he was confronted at the scene, he took off. He says, I have to go because I'm going to get in trouble. In other words, he knew kind of the gravity of what he was talking. He was belligerent, and at one point he tried to headbutt the paramedic because he got in a crash. He rear-ended somebody, and he tried to headbutt the paramedic that was trying to treat him. So when you have this kind of conduct related to the habitual use of alcohol in driving, what is the remedy for the court? Because the court needs to now protect the public. It's not so much that you need to punish him, because punishing him doesn't really work, right? You need to protect the public. And he testified, and this is the prosecutor's comment about his testimony. I thought his testimony showed a lack of personal insight that was manifested by his lack of concern for others on our roads. In our case, he was just not intoxicated. He was flat out drunk. So he was .26. 0.26 is 3 times plus the legal limit. But here's the thing. You would think, oh my God, would be passed out at that level. Well, yeah, but I mean, alcohol is something that you gain tolerance the more you do it, right? So somebody could be, who's a habitual drunk, can be 0.26 and look like they're almost normal. Under Texas law, the jury was allowed to determine his sentence, and they gave him a life sentence. Life sentence. And he'll be eligible for parole in 15 years. But let's watch this news clip from a while back. This is not new. I mean, this is, it struck me because I'd never heard anybody getting a life sentence for a DUI. But let's look at this, and this is right out of Dallas Fort Worth.
Yeah, that's right, Steve. This 62-year-old man became an example here in Parker County when it comes to sending a strong message to repeat offending drunk drivers.
All right, this is actually, I kind of like watching these roadside field sobriety tests. If you're super drunk, don't do it. You don't have to do it on the side of the road, but you do have to take the test.
This is dash camera video of Ivy Ray Eberhardt.
And look at it, it's not in the middle of the night. And that's the other thing. These habitual offenders, guess what time they usually get caught? Early afternoon.
Failing a sobriety test during a 2014 DWI stop in Weatherford. It's an encounter with cops Eberhardt at this point had been through a dozen times, including 10 convictions for drunk driving.
If he's been through this a dozen times, you'd think he would be a taskmaster at doing these field sobriety tests.
He was very, very drunk. His blood alcohol was 0.30, so...
0.30. And look at, he's walking and talking.
Almost 4 times the legal limit.
A Parker County judge on Wednesday sentenced Eberhardt to life in prison after considering this video and other evidence against the 62-year-old.
Okay, why don't you tell me this? Riddle me this. Why not just stay the fuck home? Why not just get absolutely plastered and do whatever you want to yourself, but stay home and not get in the... Do you know how many cases I get where somebody gets home and, oh, shit, I need to go to Taco Bell. You know, because getting to Taco Bell at this time is going to be a healthy decision for me. No, it's not. I mean, if you don't have anything, order something. So one of the things that there's like a MAD, if you were the MAD panel or the MAD Mothers Against Drunk Driver, they have been the most effective lobbying arm of any advocacy group I've ever seen, and they're nationwide.
4 whiskey bottles from his vehicle. All but one of them was completely empty. Swain's.
Okay, well, he's got a little party going on 4 wheels. They just defies logic that somebody just does not have that much self-preservation just for themselves. You know, that they can't put the bottle away long enough to just not drink and drive. I mean, so a lot of times when somebody's that far gone in terms of being an alcoholic, sometimes they'll put them on a drug called Antabuse. And Antabuse supposedly makes you sick if you take any alcohol. And, you know, it is, you know, and drunks have been comedy material for a long time, but it really isn't funny when somebody like this actually gets into a crash and either burns or kills somebody. And so when you see these life sentences, you know, you can be really altered. Your life can be really altered by either the criminal aspect of it or by the actual physical motor vehicle aspect of it. So, like the prosecutor said in that clip we just played, drink all you want, just don't drive. And the best thing to do if you're going to go out at night and you know you're going to have some alcohol, get an Uber before you even leave. So so you don't even take your car with you, so you don't have to even worry about getting your car home. So this is just our little reaction to a couple of major sentences in Texas. We don't have that in Minnesota. You can still get a long prison sentence for felony DUI in Minnesota, and it wasn't that long ago that there wasn't a felony DWI law in a lot of jurisdictions. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Be safe. Build. Don't drink, and if you're going to drink, don't drive. We'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer, with our content genius, Michael Rivers. We have J-Lap and Percy Mack to thank. We'll see you next time. And make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon. We got some very exclusive content coming out on Patreon, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer React. Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer, fresh off of a victory, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But we are always here so graciously accompanied by our content genius, Michael Rivers, who is behind the camera as he speaks. And his hand is basically up my ass like a puppet. I only say what he tells me to say. So if I ever say anything that offends you, blame Michael. I'm kidding. Kidding about that. No, but he and I work together, and this is a labor of love, and I absolutely love working with Michael. We're like 28,000 away from $1 million. Amazing, right? So let me just start this episode by telling you what I've been doing all week. I've been in trial and kicking the prosecutor's ass, which was just amazing. I tried 12 cases in the last year and a half. I think I've won 9 out of the 12, which is a pretty good record. I don't care who you are. When you are sitting there and your client is looking at, major felony, possible jail or prison time, lifelong changes, and all of a sudden you keep the government from getting into his life anymore, there's just no greater feeling. You give your client his life back, and we worked hard for a couple of years on this case. Still almost bad for this prosecutor. I'm not going to tell you who he is, but it's my 3rd acquittal against this prosecutor. And it's just like, but we won, and we kicked some ass. And, oh, God, I love it. And just so you know, when I say I've tried 12 cases over the last 18 months or, year and a half, that doesn't mean that's all I've had. It's just those 12 cases. I probably handle about 70 to 90 cases a year. That's on average. I eat, sleep, breathe criminal defense, and I just absolutely love it. And so this week, when I had a client hanging on my every word, and you hope to God you're giving the best advice you can, and you hope that when you try the case, that the jury that you're dealing with receives your message, because you don't know how your witnesses are going to come off, and just to have all that work culminate, really almost like a final exam, and you learn that you passed the exam, and it's life-changing or life-affirming, really. And on another little announcement, for lack of a better word, so the month of August here, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be on a motorcycle trip with my buddies. We are going from Minnesota to Alaska and back, 7 guys. So I'm going to be probably updating with some epilogue footage, not epilogue, but, footage of our trip. And maybe I'll react in a different way, and we'll have some other episodes that are a little bit different. And not sure exactly how that's going to work, but you know what? I have what somebody doesn't have, most people don't have. I have a content genius named Michael Rivers. So he and I are going to collaborate and make sure this becomes kind of interesting for you guys, okay? All right, we're going to react today to the update on Melly. But before we get to that, my grandma got popped. She wound up getting arrested, and we had to do a bail bonds for a $50,000 bond. So what we did is we e-signed it. I was in trial, so I couldn't make it over to the bonding agency. They sent me over the paperwork, and I signed it, e-signed, because it was super easy for them, because all they had to do was download the app. They got 3 free signatures a month, and I was able to e-sign the document. We bailed Grandma out. Now we can't find her. She's on the run. So this is what she looks like. She's a little bit crazy. This is her van. And if you see her around, Grandma's on the run. It's not e-sign, no one signs. And for me, it was an effective way to do business. I use it all the time in my practice when somebody can't make it in the office. However, in this was really easy to do because Grandma now is on the fucking run, and I got to find her before her next court date. So if you guys find her, I want to know in the comments if you've seen my grandma. Okay? All right. Melly. They're wrapping up Melly. They're wrapping up the trial. And the last witness is their lead detective on the case. Now, a lead detective, when you cross-examine a lead detective, and we're going to react to that next week when you see this cross-examination, it's easy to have the lead detective, slop in, the evidence, because the prosecutor's job is just to basically, and then what happened? Then what did you do? But they've got to organize it, and they have to be able to try to blunt some of the defense's theories in the case. And in this case, it's interesting. I don't know who they're going to call. I think the only witnesses that they could really call that are going to make a difference, maybe Melly's mom. They're probably going to call some experts, forensics examiner, like a ballistics person, and probably their own medical examiner. And I doubt Melly's going to testify. So, but my prediction that Bortland was going to testify looks like that went by the wayside. I was wrong about that. I just think it's funny that he's out on $100,000 bond on a homicide. And his trial's coming up in, I think, October or something like that. So let's kind of look and see some of the evidence that's coming in. So remember, one of the big issues in this case was your cell phone. Now, how often do you use this thing? How often? Oh, look at all the messages. Oh, look at all this. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. And we sit there and we use it constantly, right? It is basically your soul. It describes everything you do day to day, from your location to the text messages that you send, to the apps that you use, to your banking information, everything about your life, your spending, everything about it. And so one of the things that they did in this case is they had the officer or the lead detective go through the phone. So let's kind of watch the video and some of the trial testimony and see what happens.
Were any man purses, satchels found in that gray Jeep?
No, ma'am.
The first thing he does is he starts talking about, and this surveillance video is huge, and the satchel was a big piece of evidence as well. It's arguably that's where he had the gun.
Specifically, the beige one that's pictured at 2/18/40.
No, ma'am, we did not recover that.
Continuing forward to 2/19/05.
And that's Melly with that big thing in the back of his jacket.
Was a black satchel recovered?
No, ma'am.
Specifically the one that is seen in the individual in the black and white jacket?
Correct.
Did Mr. Henry have possession of either of those satchels or man purses at the hospital?
No, ma'am.
So they get in the car and that bag is not there. They get in the car, and they seize the car at the hospital. And sometimes it is just as powerful to show what isn't there as to what is there. So, for example, if all of a sudden the location services on your phone has been turned off between X hour and X hour, like in the Koberger case, that's interesting because you can look back at the history, you can see, well, that didn't happen here, and somehow just during the crime that happened. So that's what you call consciousness of guilt. And in this case, the absence of the bags that the two men had, that's interesting. Why? Where did they go? I mean, there was no reason to take those. And where is Melly at the time they go to the hospital?
So, Detective Moretti, I want to go here to Publishing States 90. Once you have your bearings on this point from the 9807 phone, I'm going to switch over to the other side at 4:03 a.m.
And all of this digital information is balls on accurate. And you really, from a defense perspective, you can't argue with it. And what they're showing here is that the location of Melly's phone during the time of the crime.
What area does this depict?
This is the actual crime scene on US 27 Pembroke Road.
And approximately where along Pembroke Road on this map were those casings discovered?
It was on the south side of the road, about 820 meters from US 27. 820 feet from US 27, and approximately where the GPS coordinate is at.
Okay.
Essentially, what they're doing here is they've had a bunch of different witnesses testify, right? About the phone, about the surveillance video, about the forensics, whatever. So then you take the lead detective and you kind of summarize, for the jury, the last bits of information. And now they're talking about some text message that was going on. And here's the other thing. Stay off the fucking phone if you're in jail. Stay off the fucking phone. And don't try to talk in code when you're in phone or when you're in jail. I mean, it's ridiculous. The reason I say that is because why? The reason I say that is because if you are on the phone, it's 100% recorded. And one of the things Melly did in this thing is he gave his mother the code to his phone, the one that they seized. And then all of a sudden, they listened to that, and then it opened the phone. But keep in mind, that's one of the ways they're also able to establish the identity of the owner of this phone, because Melly's telling her what the code is, and because he wants her to get a number out of his phone for his manager, and so she's able to unlock the phone with the code that he gives her. And every word going through one of those phones is being listened to by an agent of the government. Now, this other part, these text messages, he talks to Sack Chaser, and they got a beef, and it looks like he's trying to calm him down. Artists, just to look good, do the same shit be doing under you, because I let you be the face, but I'm the CEO. All right, now I butchered the shit out of that. Sorry about that. But here's the thing. What he's basically saying is, just because you're Pop and you're the front man doesn't mean that you own the whole, company. And so this is a dispute about dough.
And I meant to tell you all, I told you before, we went to Cali, that me and Judy, CEO, Peso, the artist, because you be moving on this music just because you Pop ain't fitting be looking confused all my life. Y'all really, my artist, you ain't doing that part right. I got these N-words right. Y'all ain't fitting, just keep saying that y'all be on some lifestyle shit, just can't say they your artists just to look good, do the same shit I be doing. I'm just under you because I let you be the face, but I'm the CEO.
So you can see that as far as Sack Chaser is concerned, there's a dispute. And it's a dispute about you're getting all the clout and I ain't getting any shout. So let's continue. And these are powerful because they've got text messages from almost a year's worth of text messages from Melly. Number one, establishing ownership of the phone, and number two, establishing the beef right around the time that they were killed.
I'm good. It's just somebody telling me y'all up to something. You don't owe me nothing. We is the same person. But how you let this shit keep going this far? What if it was the other way around? My mom wouldn't be doing no shit like this.
I know you all are up to something. Meaning he thinks he's getting fucked over. And you're letting it go too far. You can tell he's really upset. And he's really upset with both Melly's mom and with him.
Next message at 12:40 p.m. from the 9081.
I'm bullying. Ain't say I was beefing with you before. I let something happen to me or play with my family. Everyone will die. Shit like that. Duck with my blood.
So, now he's talking about everyone will die, and this is Sack Chaser now talking to Melly.
And the response from the 9807 phone number on 12/40/41/8/30/2018.
I don't consider her my mama. No mo, fuck that bitch, bro. I know, I feel, that shit weird, bro.
So he's basically dishing on his own mom. In other words, disavowing his mother and his mother's stuff. And maybe he's doing that to just kind of lay low, to keep Sack Chaser just not thinking he's up to anything.
August 30th, 2018. From the 9081 phone number at 12:41:30.
Then she keep telling people shit about me, and I'm not even worried about her, bro. I'm trying to bull do me. Why? And that's always worried about me, and what the fuck you talking about how you gonna leave, and we can't even get in the gate without you be on some crazy shit.
And the response on August 30th, 2018, 12:41 p.m. from the 9807.
Like, I don't even be knowing what the fuck to say. No mo. She do shit out of the blue. She the devil. For real. Shit crazy. I don't got shit to do with it no mo. If you all kill her, fuck it, bro. She ain't my mama. She sold her soul.
So he's almost endorsing them killing his mother. If you all kill her, so be it. She sold her soul. And so when you're in a beef with somebody like that and you talk like this and you're siding with them, the only reason you do that is to get them to kind of feel more comfortable with you. So the defense later files a motion for a mistrial based on that last text message, calling his mom a bitch and all that stuff, and how it's irrelevant. But it really isn't irrelevant. I mean, it really is relevant to the fact that he's siding with Sack Chaser. Now, this is a cold individual, because if he really did kill these two young men, watch this video. This is what he does later. This is like just hours later. Not a care in the world. Not a care in the world. And his two buddies are dead. And he knows it. And then you've got Bortland sitting right there too. And the thing about it is, and I see this all the time, he probably thinks he got away with it. He probably thinks he's in the clear. Oh, you told him that story? Okay, good. We're done. And then one of the last pieces of evidence that they showed this week was, if they had some issue with one of the lawyers getting sick, so that they were supposed to finish this week, but they're going to finish on Monday. But one of the last pieces of evidence that they showed this week was part of a video, documentary, involving Melly. Let's watch this, and I'm going to tell you what this means at the end on the other side of this.
This shit like a dream. Shit we done prayed for. It's like really help. Everybody proud, like everybody happy.
And if you look at the caption on the screen at the end of this video, it says, 4 days after the completion of this film, YNW Melly and his friends were the targets of a drive-by shooting in Miami, Florida. Now, I don't know who wrote that, but does that somehow mean that Melly was there? Did they slip up in saying that? I don't know. But the judge let it in, and so this is going to end next week on Monday. Then they're going to start on the defense case. Now, they could put some character witnesses on, but they're not going to do that. And the reason they're not going to do that is because, the prosecution cannot put on character witnesses of the accused unless the accused puts it in play. So if the defendant puts on character witnesses, they can put on bad character witnesses. The prosecution can. So I don't think they're going to do any of that. I think they'll be more technical with their presentation. I don't think they're going to, they've made some allegations that they didn't follow up with any of the leads, of other suspects. You got one guy who admitted that he was, responsible for the killings, but guess where he was? He was in jail at the time, so it was impossible for him to do that. There's other people who have said they had particular knowledge of what happened, but they just heard it on the street, and so they were kind of dispatched. But so I think the defense is going to probably focus largely on the technical aspects of things, on the technical aspect of, you don't have Melly holding the gun. You don't have his prints on a gun. You don't even have a gun. You don't have a weapon. You don't have, looks like there's a motive, but they're going to make short shrift of the motive in this case. So we'll keep following this. It's an interesting trial, but defense has got a big hill to climb. So we'll see you next time here in Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon, and we'll see you next time here in Criminal Lawyer Reacts.